Okay, we're getting started, Vic. Just 1 second here.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay? I don't know if you can hear me okay or not.
Clear as a
Did
bell.
you say yes? Did I
Yes.
see a yay? Okay, because I can't hear yet.
Okay.
New digs, new place, new setup.
I know.
And I should be able to hear you in a
I
minute.
hear you really, really well. Just
Oh, you can hear me okay? It might echo a little because the microphone got taken apart in the move and the movers separated the pieces and put them into different boxes.
oh no.
We had absolutely the dumbest, retarded, idiot movers we have ever had. They put, you think you go a room at a time and put it in one room and then the other room and then
Yeah.
let's do the bathroom and then we're about half done. We're tired now. Let's go to the living room and then let's go to the computer room. And so all this stuff it's too weird. So it's taken quite a long time to get it.
Goodness.
So what I'm just want to check in, Vic, I know you know what to do. I can hear you.
Yes.
And I'm running the audio through a different display so that I can, so let me know if you can hear okay.
You sound really good. I would not know you have a problem at all.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's really good.
So
And then I'll leave it to you for like 1 minute. Good.
Sure.
Yeah, good. Ship.
I'll get everybody in here and going and getting their settings right.
Yep. And seeing what the biggest obstacle is for people who really love and are sure that they can help people and love what they do and love how they can help people. If they could just bloody find them.
They could just, what did you say? Because you cut out.
If they could just bloody find them.
Ooh, I like it that way. Let's do it like that. All right. A bunch of you got in already, and Kim has been looking for things that are lost in the house that she's moving into. location, microphone bits and all that. But I can hear you, Kim. So you sound good.
All right, good.
While we're all coming in, while you've been listening to that, come in and tell us where you're from. Hi, Chip. And make sure that you have your setting, as you know, to everyone so that we all can read what you're saying. So say hello. And then you heard Kim's question in her own voice, but I'm going to say it out loud. What's the biggest obstacle for some of you? You love what you're doing. You love it. And if you could just bloody find a way to do it so it doesn't drive you crazy and you actually attract your people, the ones you actually want to help. What is that obstacle? As far as you know today, because that's why you're here, I think. And a couple of you, please go ahead and put your settings to everyone. Chip, that means you. And I know you're good at this, so you know where that's at and where you're from. So let's start off with, that horrible obstacle that you just are in mad love with what you're all about and you can't find your people. So let's reveal.
Somebody said technology. Well, that's something that's easy to fix by Googling stuff, but it takes time and technology is a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. I totally concur.
So there's the first one. Oh, a time to do social media, D. You mean to find people through social media, putting value posts up? What do you mean by that? So that you can find your audience. Who else? Kathy, nice to have you. From Pennsylvania. We had a fun talk this week. I'm still laughing about it. Maryland, Leslie, good? So reveal, I've got 3 people so far that have talked about their bloody obstacle. So let's see who else. Value posting, that's what I thought you meant. Who else?
What does that mean to you, value posting?
D. Explain. And Grace, trying to figure out how to prospect for leads online. Okay, who else? The words that draw people other than those who are looking to be entertained, especially if you're on Facebook, right? That's the entertainment place that people love to go to scroll and play around and show pictures of their dog. Stephen, put your setting to everyone, and you're saying Facebook posting, don't know what to post. Okay, who else? Come on in and tell me where you're from at first. Say hi to everyone. And how many of you have been in the industry trying to market something that you love madly, hopefully, at least 5 years? At least 5 years. Kathy, Minnie, okay, who else? Got some slides coming here. Just lost my chat, hang on a minute. Okay. 11 years, Stefano. That's the longest so far. Way over 5. Okay, Stephen. 10, 20? And the next question for somebody that has been in under a year. Under a year. Rufus, 12. What's your greatest obstacle, as Kim has proposed to you, that's holding you back from being the great advisor you want to be and doing the thing you actually love? What is it? Kathy, not to be salesy. Don't want to be salesy. Putting a message out, and where do I put that message? Anyone else? If you're just popping in, tell us where you're from. Cool hat, Kim.
Oh, thank you.
I like that. Oh, and Denise says, how I say what I have and what it can solve so that it gets people's attention. And Kathy, I need more self-confidence approaching people. That's the obstacle. What else? Getting people to take the necessary action for what I share, for what I have. Yeah, she does. She has a cool cap collection, Chip. I need more people to talk to, period. All right. Any others? What's that #1 challenge holding you back from getting those good enrollments that belong with you, not the ones that you don't want to have in your life? Because I've had those too. Some of you have been in a long time. How many of you had enrollments you put in and you shouldn't have put them in? Some of them made you miserable. There's one right there. So it's the right ones, right? The ones that you can help, not the wrong ones that are whiners. Right on, Chip?
Okay.
All right.
We're ready to rock and roll. Vic, can you hear me all right? Did you say you can hear okay?
Yeah, you sound really good. Nice and crisp. It's good.
Oh, good, 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 good. All right. Well, we're going to get cooking. This is Kim Flavor, and you could meet my sidekick, Vic, there. Let me make sure that I have my own thingy set up right, and I'm in a new place and trying to see if I can make the camera work or not. Does it work all right?
That's great. Yeah.
Okay.
Lighting's good. Everything.
Everything. Okay. Good, good, good. So I'm delighted to show you this. And how do you choose only the right ones? Well, honey, we're going to show you right now. Right now, I'm going to show you how we do that and how it is that we can really not waste time with the wrong people. So let me warn you first a couple things. First of all, we do not teach conventional network marketing here. I just want you to know that. Is everybody's good with that? Why? Why do we not teach conventional stuff? Everyone wants us, just talk to everyone, keep doing it. And if you don't believe and something's wrong with you and you're a loser. We don't teach that, okay? What we do is that the status quo in this industry, I would say is really not very good. You think about it, most people fail and quit. Why? Because they're told stuff that isn't really true. If you're supposed to be a clone of somebody else and they're not making much money either, then how good are you going to be? Any business that encourages, like this one does, sameness, cloning, don't do anything somebody else can't do, that is not motivated like you are, is dumber than you are, is inexperienced. Why would you go to the lowest common denominator? How do you think progress ever gets made in our world? It's people who look at the status quo in electric cars, in telephones, in lighting. All these people said, well, the way it is really not that great. Let me try something different. And they do it. And guess what? We have what we call progress. How many of you want to contribute to progress in your business and maybe even in the industry by doing something different than what doesn't work very well? Who would say yes? Yes, yes, yes. Who wants to be different? Who dares to be different? Okay, let me see. Who dares? Even if the upline police tell you not to do it, you're going to do it anyway. Do you dare? Because if you don't dare, you're screwed. If you want to make money in an industry where most everybody quits, it's like, you got to do something different. Are you ready for that? Do you dare do something and not ask your upline, is it okay if I do this? No, you better not, because nobody else can do that. Is that do you want to stay like that or not? Do you dare? Who besides Chip dares?
Oh, there's
Is that it? We got one person that dares?
Well, you got like 10 or 12. I'm ready. I dare, I dare, I dare.
Yeah, well, all right, that's number one, because you're an entrepreneur, aren't you? Are you guys entrepreneurs? That means you're a creator. God was an entrepreneur. I don't know if you all know that, but that's what it says in the Bible. He was kind of an entrepreneur. At first, he imagined, well, geez, what are we going to do here? I'm bored. Let me create some people who are going to love on me. That's pretty cool. So he made some people, thought it first, and then he created it. So that means you need to be a creator, not a cloner. He didn't make Adam as a clone. He made somebody totally else, a girl. Are you with me? Do you dare or not? How many people here dare to admit that maybe they're a creator and they haven't been creative because the upline police is telling them, don't do this and don't do that? Because some other person who doesn't care as much, not committed, doesn't believe, not educated like you, doesn't care like you, they can't do it. I mean, is that a ridiculous thing or not? You tell me. Ridiculous? Type in there ridiculous, R-I-D. Who's going to give me an R-I-D for the ridiculous? Let me see. Chip, I can always count on you. So you get to create what you want. Don't worry about duplication. Duplication of behavior is not going to happen. How many of you discovered? You say, oh, just go talk to people. So why don't you go duplicate that? Well, I don't want to. So there goes your duplication. Well, why don't you talk to people at the gym? Well, I don't feel like it. So there, you're screwed. Duplication of behavior is a fantasy. It's a ridiculous idea. Duplication is supposed to be the system. If you're in a binary or in a breakaway or in a unilevel, whatever the type of pay plan is, right? You have to fill those circles with people who pay money. That is a system. And if the money, $100 a month in 200 spots, will pay whoever does that the same amount of money. That is a duplication, like a copy machine, okay? But behavior, how you do that, who you talk to, when you talk to them, the way you talk to them, the energy you have, the confidence you have. Are you going to duplicate that? You tell me, yes or no. We're going to duplicate what you can do, your experience, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Let me see. Because you need to get this straight. If you think that you're going to be a little clone of your upline, 9 levels up, who started the business 25 years ago, that's probably not going to work. Talking to people is not how you make the money here. If you think that you're treating everybody as if they are your prospect, because they're not. Okay, so not conventional. Have I sold you on this? Who's a creator? Say, I'm a creator before I go on. I'm a creator, yes or no? Davis Brewer, are you good? I can't, Davis, would you put your setting on everyone so people can see? Because you're making good contributions. We want to see that. Yep, you're a creator. Type in the chat, I'm a creator, okay? So that means you can transcend the industry. You can make us all better by being different. Yeah. Davis, we got you, babe. All right. So I want to be sure that you get this, because this is the framework that we use. And I'm going to show you something at the end. Well, Vicki will mention it to you, because we have a couple things to offer you that, if you want us to help you become the kind of person who does this and actually makes an impact. And when you make an impact, you actually make some money. That's kind of how it works, right? Now, let me ask you, before we start, I'm going to give you the thing right here. Somebody asked me today, hey, can we really find people who are interested before you talk to them? Interested in what we have? How many people think it's a yes? Can you really find people that are interested before you talk to them about what you have? If you think that the answer is no, we wouldn't have a session, right? Of course, you might think it's no. I know. Vicky knows, right? We know we can do this. I was going to tell you here that I was going to tell you something fun, but Vic, I can't remember. What do you remember any of the beginning words? Because I was going to tell them something fun before we start.
Oh, goodness.
Do you remember?
No, I don't remember right this second.
Okay, cool.
I was in the
All
chat. I was in the chat. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay. So you can transcend the industry. You got that. You have the yes test demo. I know. I was going to tell you. At the end of this, we have a couple of options for people. And one of them is something that I am so in love with, this idea. And I've really never taught it because I never really thought about it. And I'm pretty ancient, but there is a way. Let me tell you this. Let me ask you a question. Just keep this in your mind between now and the time we get to the end. You all know about acting, the business of acting, right? There are people like Tom Cruise made a movie, Maverick. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently everybody says it's wonderful, blah, 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 right? With me? Movies, people in the movies. Now, in the movies, one of the things that happens is everybody has a screenplay, sometimes called the script. Tell me, yes, you got this, right? They have the script. And then in the script, of course, it says, here comes a big car and it's smoking and blah, 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 blah. And then there's a little bit for the dialogue. If you look at the screenplay, if you've ever seen those, Joe says, oh my God, right? And Minnie says, oh, honey, what are we going to do, right? That's what the words that are on the screenplay that are written on the page are, oh my gosh, what is happening here? Let's say that. And the other line is, oh, what shall we do, right? Now, those words, when they're there like that and not said by anyone, can be said by different people in different ways. Are you with me here? Acting, saying the lines, knowing your lines. So what they tell you is when you go and audition for a part in a movie or in a play, they tell you this is the character, this is their background, this is who they are. He is Hercules, he came down from Olympus, he is the hoo-ha of all hoo-has, and that's the character you are, and you're speaking these lines from that character's point of view. Tell me, yes, you get this, yes or no? Oh, Denise, you're the only one who understands this so far? When you see this, you're going to flip. Okay, so the actors have to read these words in the same way that we give you guys lines or your company or your upline, and you have to say them somehow. And you occupy a certain kind of a character. And you're going to see that many of you, when you call Aunt Lulu, are coming from the version of you, the character that is Weenie Woo. Hi, you don't want this, do you? Right? Now, if you're supposed to be the character that is, oh my God, I can do a miracle. I can pull a tree out of the ground when I'm on. Now you're coming from that point of view. Would you sound like Weenie Woo? Oh, I don't know. Do you think you'd get the part of Hercules' voice reading the same words if you sounded like Weenie Woo versus sounding like Hercules? Yes or no? Are you guys with me? Do you get this? It's really, really critical that you know that the voice and the emotion, it's not the words. I can give 10 of you scripts. And if I read it, I will have the same words, a very different impact on the same person than you will. Why? Why does Tom Cruise get the parts for Maverick? Well, he says his lines the best. He's really nothing like Maverick in his real life. Apparently, he's quite a wuss. That's what everybody says who lives with him. Tom Cruise, right? But when he turns on his Maverick, or whatever the character's name is, nobody says those same words better with more emotion of the right kind than he does. Are you all see that? So you have to become a certain character so that when you say the scripts I'm about to give you, they land and people go, oh, let me help you. Yeah, here. Do you see this? Yes or no? You cannot come from your wussy self, that one that we all have. You have to come from that place of the one where you have the character that has the best traits that you want yourself to have, that you're working on getting on a day, like confidence. All right, so we got this. Just keep this in mind. It's very interesting because practice, nobody wants to practice. Why? Because you look stupid, right? But I'm going to show you in a program that we're going to run how to develop the talent to practice. And you will become a crazy, wild practitioner when you operate from the identity and the character that you want to be. The same words, you will get 10 customers and somebody else won't get any. The same words. For the same reason that Cruise gets $100 million a movie to say words. And other people say the same words and they get kicked out of the audition room. Are you with me? Why? Because in their mind, they have the character in mind. They are occupied, the character is in their mind. They have like put on the whole outfit of Hercules or whoever. You got this? All right, let's get the show on the road. All right, so she said, can you really find people? Yeah, we can. I'm going to show you just how to do it. Now, here's the problem. Here's what most people think. And it's not because you're born stupid. It's because that's what they teach in this industry, okay? And in many other internet marketing, affiliate marketing, all that stuff, okay? They teach this. Everyone wants this. As we go along, if you have heard this, just type a Y in the chat so everybody can see. So they know I'm not the only one that's heard this with Vicky. Who has heard this? Everyone will want this. Just put a yes in the chat so I can know that you're awake. Vicky, monitor.
A lot of yeses, my goodness.
As if we don't get a yeses, we're leaving. We're going home and having cookies and milk. Next one, everybody needs this. How about that? Have you heard that? Needs this.
Yes, yes.
Everyone wants health and wealth. You getting this? This is the best, most amazing breakthrough thing in the world. It works at the DNA level, blah, 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 blah. This is what most people have been taught, and some of you might believe this. And it's not entirely wrong. I'm going to give you the little the filter for this. Okay. Okay, so this is what most people think. Everybody's going to want this. Everybody needs it. Everybody wants health and wealth. And this is the most amazing thing that there is. Have we got it? Anybody say, no, this is foreign to me. I never heard any of this. Let me see. You got it. Okay. So most people do want health and wealth. The truth of the matter is this: people do want health and wealth, of course, but not if it takes effort or spending money. Some people don't want it if it takes effort or spending money. Ever got this? Yes or no? Say yes. Most people do want health and wealth. If it requires effort, if it costs money, or if it takes time, some of them are not going to want it. Have you discovered this? Let me see if you've discovered this or not. All right, we all got it discovered. Okay. If it's something they're not comfortable doing, they won't do it. It doesn't matter if you say, don't you want a lot of money? I do. And don't you want to have the Ferrari? Oh, I do. You know, if you just hand it to me. But if I have to talk to people and try and sell them stuff, they're not comfortable doing that. Are they going to do it? Yes or no? Are they going to go to the audition and have their lines in front of them and call the people and sound like they're effective? Yes or no? Because what's the character they're assuming when they call Aunt Lulu? No, I don't want to really do this. You don't really want to see Aunt Lulu. I mean, you know. In fact, I'll give it to you free. How about that? Then I can say I got a customer. Is that how you come across? Are you going to get the acting part? Because you're not in the character. See, we have to have that character that you want to be and operate from that person so you can be better than you are right now. Are we agreed? Yes? All right. And they're not going to do it if it's bad timing for them. No, I'm going on a trip around the world. I'll be back in 3 years. Call me then. Great. All right. Okay. If it doesn't align, I want you to remember this slide because I'm going to show it later. If whatever you've got, the business, the product, the service, the coaching, if it does not align with their values or their experience, guess what? Oh, here's the example. I don't do fasts. Oh, great. Okay. I don't want to sell, right? How about, oh, I don't like shakes. I want to chew my food. And you're going to go, oh my gosh. It's too expensive. How many of you have heard it's too expensive? You have too expensive? Let me see. See if we've got anybody in there.
Oh, everyone.
Right? Yeah, I mean, it totally sucks, but there's a solution. The way we do it, we really don't hear it. And it isn't because it isn't true. It's because you try really hard only to talk to people where the values are aligned. And they say to themselves, I will do anything to get this because getting this means I'm going to be 100 times better for the rest of my life. That's who you try to talk to. We've had people come into our our $10,000 program. In fact, we offered a program to somebody that was 100 grand. One of my pals sells a $100,000 program and they have to come up with, I think, $25,000 down. And there are people who didn't have $1,000 in the bank. So are they going to say it's too expensive? Of course, but they anticipate this. So it's like, okay, for some people, certain things are too expensive, but it's only if you don't see the value. And everybody isn't going to see the value of what you have. So you want to call out the people who are likely to see the value in what you have. Is that everyone? Yes or no? Let me just make sure this is your test. Do you understand this? Is everyone going to see the value of your thing no matter how much you love it? You make sure you get this right. Okay, because otherwise what's going to happen? You're going to beat on yourself, right? Right, Vic? Isn't that what they do?
Yes. Yeah, you go to therapy. Or you'll
Yeah, totally. Okay, so if it doesn't align with their values, they'll say, oh, I want to lose weight, but I don't do fast. Oh, I need a lot of money. Oh my God, I'm so broke. I need to pay my house. I need to pay my rent. If I need to pay my private school, but I don't want to sell. You hear me? See what's going on? They want this, but not if they have to do that. Right? I do want to lose weight, but I don't like shakes. I want to chew my food. Oh, I do, want to have a big program and have Kim help transform me and Vicky and the whole team, but it's too expensive. So what does it tell you? Either we have not shown that not doing a transformational program will leave you in the same crappy state that most people feel like they're in right now for the next 3 to 5 years. Or you go, oh my God, doing that would cost me 100 grand. Paying 8 or 10 is a cheap date compared to me, misery, suffering, and having no more income than I have right now for the next 10 years. See, that's how you weigh, and that's how we're going to recommend you decide what matters to you. It's all individual. Do you see that? It depends entirely on how much somebody wants a change. Nothing more than that. It's for all of us. People here, what we have at the end is only probably a couple of you I know are waiting for it. But most people not. And that's okay. When you're done, you're going to know how to talk to people about your business or your product that have said, yes, I'm a 10, I want to know. So no matter what, you're coming out ahead. So we've done a good thing. That's what we want to do. Our good deed today. Okay. And this is our business. So we help people with this. That's what we do. Okay. So is this belief true? Everyone wants this. Everyone needs this for any product that you have. True? Yes or no? Just put T or F. And then I'll give you the bottom line here. T or F, T or F. What you got?
A lot of FFF. No, no, no.
So if your upline says that, just say, oh, okay, and don't respond. Just know that this is false. All right, as you just said. So let me tell you something about the damage that these beliefs have done to people. We come from a vantage point of being ancient. And one good thing about that is that you have perspective. We've been doing this 30 years, and these beliefs about everyone wants this, everyone needs this, everyone is your prospect, has done a lot of damage to people. A lot of damage. Number one, it's loss of self-esteem. People stop trying, like the chained elephant. Who knows the story about the chained elephant? When elephants are little, it's hard to think of a little elephant because they're, pretty big. But when they're little, to keep them in place, the owners of the elephants put a little chain on them. And when they're little, they can't move from that chain because that's the way it is. So over a year or two, when they get bigger, every time they try to pull on the chain, it doesn't work. So they can't move. So they decide, I cannot move with this chain on my foot. So every time they think about moving, pretty soon they just give up because they tried and it didn't work, and tried and didn't work. Just like all of you. Try what they tell you, it didn't work. Try what they tell you, it didn't work. Try what they tell you, it didn't work. Even if you didn't like it, you tried it because they said do it, duplicate, like a clone, like a dummy. So you did it thinking, well, they must know. That's what we did. We figured they must know. Why would they tell us this if it isn't true? But it's not true. And so it grows up and it's big like this. And if it did one flick of its foot, the whole thing would come out of the ground. But do they do it? Right? Do they do it? Yes or no? Does the elephant even try anymore? Right? Does the elephant try anymore? No, because what happens is the damage of the common belief has been done. Right? And what is the common belief? I can't sell. What it leads to is you say, I can't sell. I can't do this. Nobody wants this. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? Does this sound like you feel? I can't sell. I can't do this. I can't find it. And probably nobody wants it. Like the elephant. Because they told you this nonsense, everybody wants this, everybody needs this. And because most people said no, you think it's you. And you fall on the sword. Do not do this. Have I got you with me? Okay. So you end up like this. That is the damage that the common belief has, and the common stuff that they teach about everybody wanting this. All you have to do is, it's easy, anyone can do it. Okay. So if this sounds like you feel, then I'm going to show you right now. Are we on the same page? Sounds like you feel. Let me hear. Let me see. Yeah.
You got them. They're here.
All right. So here's what we did. Because this happened to us too. How do you think we know? Right? You suffer enough and you come out the other end of the fire and you go, okay, let me tell you how this works. Okay, so here's what we did. You got your note paper ready? Who's ready? Okay, so these are the things that, remember you said at the beginning, you're a creator, you're an entrepreneur, and you're smart. I don't think there's any dummies here. You wouldn't be here. Are we agreed? You're a creator, you're smart. Yes? Chip, I do love you. You are just such an energetic guy. All right. So we knew some people were buying. All of you, no matter what you market, yes or no, do you know that some people are in fact buying your thing? Yes or no? From somebody in your company? Yes or no? Do you know that somebody is buying what you're selling? Yes or no? Do we have yeses, Vic?
Lots of yeses.
Okay, so this is a fact. People are buying. They're not buying from you, maybe, but they are buying. So they're buying. That's note number one. I know people are buying. Write that down for yourself. I'm a creator. And I know people are buying. Because say you're in Isogenics, or you're in LifeWave, or you're in Nu Skin, or any of the companies. Hundreds of people come into those companies every day. So you know somebody's buying this stuff, right? And somebody's coming into the business. We got yeses, Vicki? But who? Your job is not to is to make your income have an impact with your clients. So who is buying, and how can you find them? We said, are we good with that? Isn't that the trick? Who's buying? How are we going to find these people? And how do we find them fast so we don't get ancient? We want them in our lifetime, right? We want them right away. And you want to do it without annoying other people or getting rejected. Am I right?
Big time. Exclamation mark. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I just want to be sure that you're psychologically on the same page, right? And if you are, because you're an entrepreneur and you're a creator, and that you can observe and you have your own mind and you don't need the upline police telling you jack. No. Right? Okay, so get this. How do we do this? We know people are buying. Okay, so in the world, in the rest of the world, some people, I just looked this up today, buy a Range Rover. It's $104,000. A Ferrari's $300,000. A Bentley, is like more. But let's take an average luxury range car. That's $104,000. Some of you know that people buy Range Rovers. I was one. I don't have a car now. I don't drive anywhere. I just have Ubers and I walk. But that's what I had for years, a Range Rover. How many of you think that a Range Rover is too expensive for your taste? Say me. Me, yes or no? It doesn't matter to me. Just say it's too expensive. Who says yes, this is too expensive? Okay, anybody? So if it's not too expensive, how come you don't all have one?
Oh, look, we've got a few. They're saying it's too expensive. Yep.
Yeah, it's your choice, right? You can buy whatever you want. But some people buy that. So you know that some people buy a car for $104,000, right? Whether you like it or not, whether you think they should be sending money to the Ukrainian people or not. Some people are buying $104,000 Range Rover, and they do it every day. Okay, that's why that company's in business. Now, there are other people who buy a Ford for 28 grand. I put this on the slide today, and then I raced over to look to see what Fords cost. And lo and behold, 28.3, 28.5, 28.9, so 28,000. Okay. So these are two choices. $104,000 that some people think is too expensive, but people buy. So we know they buy. You get this, and other people buy a Ford. And Ford also has a huge business. It's called luxury end and lower end. And then you have the stuff in the middle. Are you with me? We have high and low end cars for different kinds of people. Now, some of you are going to think maybe, oh yeah, you would buy that if you had a lot of money. No, there are people who have almost no money in the bank and they buy a Range Rover. Why? Why would somebody buy a Range Rover and take a loan on the car? Why would they do that? What kind of person is that going to be? Yes, Stefania, yeah, me too. Love those things. Why would somebody buy a Range Rover if they had to take a loan out to get the car? Anybody tell me? Prestige?
They value it to look successful.
Yeah. Right, all those things, because they want to look good, they want to feel good, they want to, and that's their value set. So we don't judge, right? If you get somebody like Warren Buffett, he could buy the whole company, probably out of his cash drawer, but he drives some rickety old car, Warren Buffett, as did Sam Walton from Walmart. But he said he had a beat up truck because he had a sheepdogs in it, so whatever. So the point is, people buy stuff even if they can't afford it. So in case you're thinking, oh yeah, they have a lot of money, people buy this when they have almost no money. They feel like it. It's their experience, it's their value set. So we're not there to judge, but we are there to find those people. If you were a Range Rover dealer owner, wouldn't you want to find these people? Yes or no? Would you want to find them? Yes or no? Whether they can afford it or not, their dream is to own a Range Rover. Let me see if you understand this.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Right? You wouldn't say, oh, you're too poor. You want a Range Rover? Yeah. Can you afford it? No, but I want it. Give me a loan. Okay. Right? Because they value it. Exactly. For whatever reason they want. It's their life, their values, just like you and your clientele. Okay. So just make sure that you get this. Others buy Ford. Both companies have a lot of money. Now, why do they buy? Now, here's the truth. Remember the truth we had before, because I'm going to give you the questions now that you ask before you start. Here's the truth on this. So you see what it is. People do what they feel like doing based on who they are, based on their values, their experience, what they want. And people are really different. They come from very different places. My background is very different from Vicky's background. I mean, like, you hardly know we're on the same planet. And other people in other parts of the world, very different types of backgrounds, very different values, very different kinds of things that we were exposed to. Because if somebody tells you, if you make a lot of money, that's really evil. You must probably be, abusing people or taking advantage of them. That is going to make you think you better not make too much money, because otherwise it's going to feel like I'm exploiting people. A lot of people have trouble with money because they believe if they have enough of it or too much, that maybe they should be giving it away. So they don't accumulate very much. They don't get very wealthy, right? So these are all things that you grew up with, many of which you didn't really know that these ideas were fused to your brain before you could really make a decision. And now you have to unfuse these things and disconnect them, because it's all a question of who you are and what you want. If you have no money, how are you going to help anybody? You can't help anybody if you're broke. You know, it's a lot easier if you have a few $100,000 in the bank. You could say, oh, the church needs 10 grand here. Let me write them a check. Isn't that right? So it's good to have money when people give it to you, because you do good for them. Okay. Whatever aligns with people's values or their experience, and that's going to include you. Just get this in your head, and what is on their mind right now when you happen to call or do a DM. Got these things? People do what they feel like doing, whatever aligns with their values or experience and what's on their mind right now. Okay, these are tricky things. Does it make sense? We got this? All right, here we go. So how do we find out fast? How do we find out really, really fast how to do this? I'm going to show you right here. Before we pitch what we have. Okay, and here's what we're going to do. I have promised you the yes test. And what I did is I'm going to give it to everybody that showed up today. We have a PDF of it, but I thought what I would do is break it up for you so you can see what it is. Now, the yes test is basically kind of a euphemism for questions that you ask that we have always asked for years and years. And there are many different kinds of questions, just like there are many different kinds of movies, right? And so you ask these questions to get a read, kind of a feel for whether or not they're even have any interest whatsoever in what you have. So you only pitch or talk about what you have to people who say, absolutely, I'm totally into that. Do you understand this idea of putting feelers out? Who's heard this expression? Let's put some feelers out and see how people are likely to react. Anybody? Let me see what we have here.
Oh yeah, several.
Right, it's called like, let's get a reading. Shall we kind of do a little feel? Shall we test the weather? And you put your finger out there and you think, is it going to rain, or how is the wind going to go? It's basically kind of like you put your feelers out first. We have a program called Feeler First, as a matter of fact, and that's why we call it that. You get kind of a little feel for, you get the temperature to see where the person is based on what it is that you are going to offer them. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. So we're doing the kind of the little feeler first. Okay. So instead of, oh, Vicki, oh my God, I got something so great for you. You're totally going to love it. It's only $100 and it works at the DNA level, and it's going to, expand your left boob or your total toe, and you're going to have it and you're going to love it. And that's what people do, right? That kind of lame crap. Is that doing a feeler first? Is that kind of getting a reading? Are you getting a reading when you just hit somebody with it? Yes or no? Okay, so we're going to get a reading. So put in the chat, reading. Want to get a reading? Take the temperature. Let me see if you have this. That's got to be first. Take a reading, get the temperature. Good, you got it. That's what we're doing first. So I'm going to give you the first one. This set of questions that I have, there are only 3 questions. These are what we used for DMs and what we still use for direct messaging and for Facebook messaging, for the quickie stuff like that, because it works very fast. I can tell you that these specific questions, we've been using them for almost 10 years. Vic, when did we build up the card business to the top? And when were we the #1 recruiters in that company? Was that 2013, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 13 or 14, somewhere in there.
Vic and I joined a card company. It's still in existence. And we know all the top people there because we sponsored in with the top person there. And they ran a recruiting contest. We had just signed up 2 weeks ago. They said there's a recruiting contest. We said, hey, let's see if we can win it, beat our own upline, right? And so for 5 months, they ran this. And Vic and I were #1 and #2 in the company. Company-wide, 150,000 reps won the recruiting contest over there. We have, I don't even have the image, but, if you have any doubts about that, ask me for the image and I'll show you the company stuff that they posted online about who was first and second and 15th and all that stuff. The reason I tell you that is because this particular set of questions, the way Vic and I work, the way I recommend our top clients work, is that you do not have to be the one to close the deals. You can have one person do the marketing and set everything up, and somebody else who's the enroller supreme. They're different functions. A lot of you, when it's time to quote unquote close and to say how much is it, you go, and every presenter we've ever seen at home meetings, corporate meetings, company events, no matter what the venue is, whether it's a home or whether it's a bookstore or whether it's a hotel room or an auditorium, when it comes time to say, well, how much is it? Most people get clammy and they stop, and the tone of voice stops, and it's like, right? So we have a way that we've split up the work this way now for quite a few years, so that this issue never comes up, because there's a way to do this where Vicki never says the price. Never. Why should we say the price? They say, how much is it? And we do something else. I'll tell you later what it is, but we never tell them the price. Why? Because it's human to say, and so because we know we do that, we don't ever put ourselves in the position to have to say the word, see? Right? Keep you in suspense about that. Okay, so here's what we do. Get your pencil ready. Let's say that you're on your computer and you're DMing somebody. This assumes that the people you are sending a DM to or a Facebook message, that they at least know your name. You don't have to be your dear friends. It doesn't have to be, like the mother-in-law. They know your name. Some of you are going to ask, does this work for strangers? I would do it first with people that you know. You'll see, and some of you go, well, if they already blocked me, well, you can't hit anybody that blocks you. But if they're still accepting messages from you, if the person knows you, just make a list of the people that know you so you can practice this. And I would practice it on at least 20 people. And then you can see suddenly the light will go on. And you go, oh my God, why didn't I do this forever? I don't know, but now you're going to know it now. You ready for this? So you're typing on the DM. So all of you pretend you're sitting in front of your computer doing a DM. You can practice right here. Put it in the group. So you ask. These are samples of the yes test questions. Okay, remember we talked about that? You ready for these? Let me see if we got people listening here, tuned in. Reading. Good, getting a reading. Good. I love you guys. Yeah, because if your mind is functional like it should be and not shut by the clone, by the upline police and your own police thinking, oh, I can't do this. No, you can do anything that you want. And if you don't want to do network marketing, just say to yourself, you know what? I don't want to do this. You don't have to belittle yourself and say, I can't, I'm a wuss. No, screw it. I don't want to do this. Right? If you want, just make a decision. But if you want to get really good at it, here's the wonderful way to get really, really good at it. Use this as your opener. So before you mention the product, the very first words that you're going to type, don't type any other words. I can't tell you how many people type, oh, how are you? No. Oh, how have you been? No. Have I got you? Is everybody tuning in here? Remember, if you are reading as an actor and you want to get a part, unless you're really, really good and you know how to inhabit a character, they're going to throw you off the reading room for not knowing how to read the damn script. Okay, so the first words you type, hey, Lulu. Now, of course, you don't do Lulu. Hey, Vicki. Hey, Davis. Hey, Rufus. Hey, Denise. Question for you? These two. Okay, let's see. Somebody type this in the chat. Let me see this. Type it in. You got to practice right here. Have we got it?
Chip's first.
Hey, Kim. Good. Chip's first. Of course, he's first. Our best man. Hey, Kim. Yeah. Right. If any one of you sent me that, even if I didn't know your name, like at that moment, I would say what? Well, what I would do first is if I didn't know you at all, like it was a name that's like, I'd go immediately, where would I go first? If somebody messages you and you're kind of curious, what do you do first before you answer?
Go to the profile.
Went to the profile, right? You all know that? So make sure that on your profile, you don't look like some leper network marketer where there's nothing there but before and afters and people liking who are all members of your same company. Okay, don't do that. Otherwise, they will not answer your question because they know you're one of those people doing one of those things. On your Facebook profile page, you want to show, a person should look at that page and know who it is that you help with what problem. When somebody comes to my Facebook profile, they're going to know, oh my God, she helps those people doing those things to make good money. I do. Yeah, that's what we do. And she lives on the beach and she this and that and the other, but they know who I help. And you need to be able to do the same thing. It's not about the name of the company. It's not about the name of the product. None of that. It's who you help. Like so-and-so's an eye doctor for children under 12. Oh, wow, that to have that eye issue. Yeah, that's, oh, I want to have him or her. Okay. So, hey, Lulu, question for you. Now, you wait for the response. Okay. You have this, you wait for the response. If there isn't any, you let it go. You do not carry on. Have you got this? So what happens if they do not respond at this point? Are you going to bang on them some more or are you going to let go? Yes, Denise, got it. Masood, you know, you can do that if you want. That type of shorthand is not as interesting to people as regular longhand, but you're welcome to test it and see, okay? So if they do not respond and you don't see a little face drop down, you know how when you do a DM or a message, you see the little mug come down? If it doesn't come down or it does come down and they do not respond, you let go. We got it? Say yes. Okay, number 2. Now, then you type this. They said, yeah, what's the question? Okay, so you type this. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you stand on this? I took this right from the document, the PDF that you're going to get for being here. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you stand on this? And then you hit bang, you hit return so that this part alone appears. Have you got this? Tell me yes. Tell me yes.
Oh yeah, a lot of yeses.
Okay, and some of you guys are still typing into the host for everyone. So Vicki, you find those people haven't typed in the
I will. Stephen, go ahead and set yours to everyone. You're on host and panelist still.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you stand on this? And you hit bang. And then right after that, the next piece is look at the top. 1, don't care at all. 10, oh my G, right? Very important to me. So they know what the scale is going to be. So remember what you did here. On a scale of 1 to 10. So, hey, Lulu, question for you. Yeah, what? On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you stand on this? Bang, right? Another one. 1, don't care at all. And 10 is, oh my gosh, very, very important to me. You wait for the icon to drop down, their face. And then you type in, you ready? And they'll say, yeah, I'm ready. What? So what have you done? The one thing that almost nobody can do in our industry of millions of people, and that is get someone's attention. Because now you have an open loop, this jargon. Are you ready for this question? Yeah, what? Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, here, where do you stand on this? And they go, what? What's that? Attention. They're leaning in. They're not going, oh my God, get away from me. Oh, no. Now they want to know. What? What do you want to know? So 1 is don't care at all. 10 is, oh my gosh, very important. You ready? Who here, if I sent you that, would be curious to know, what do you want to know? Tell me yes, me, if it's you or me. Would you want to know? Would you just want to know? Like, what have you got? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, what would you want to, how many people would want to know? From anybody. Doesn't have to be me. So you've created curiosity. This is a gift from God that we have the ability. We did it because out of desperation for not spending all this time with the wrong damn people. They say, oh, I'm 300 pounds overweight, but I don't want to lose weight now. Oh, great. We just spent an hour. And if you do that enough, you're going to feel you're so stupid, you're going to quit. You're going to be like the Einstein goldfish. You know, if they judge the goldfish intelligence by how well it can climb a tree, the goldfish is going to think it's very stupid. And that's what we've all been doing for many years. Being a goldfish trying to climb a tree and wonder what's wrong with us. Well, honey, you're not supposed to be climbing trees, right? So you ready for the question? So they say, yeah. What's the question? They're leaning in, they're leaning in, they're leaning in. So you stay on that message. If you start the sequence, don't go to the bathroom or go someplace else. Stay with the people because you get them leaning in, leaning in, leaning in, leaning in, and then you got to go back. Are you ready for the next part? Who's ready? Here comes the next part. How important is your weight energy to you? Okay. These are examples of things that you do or could do based on the product type that you have or whether you're selling the business. So these are examples. How important is your weight energy to you? I never use just weight because that's boring. Everybody's overweight. So weight energy to you. Let's say if you offer a weight loss program. Here's another one. How important is having something of your own to you? You know, having a business of your own in case you want to ditch the 9 to 5. Now notice here, we're not saying do you want to have your own network marketing business and make a boatload of money? Are you all seeing this? You are acting like an intelligent, civilized person and treating the other person as if they also are intelligent and civilized. So how important is it to you to have something of your own in case you ever want to ditch the 9 to 5? Now, let me tell you what some people will say. It's really not because I love my job. Okay, great. I'll see you later. Bye. You got this? Great. I'll see you later. Thanks so much. I got to run. Why? Well, I'm looking for people who are looking for something in case they want to ditch the 9 to 5. Notice, what do you got? I'm just looking for people in case they want an alternative to the 9 to 5. What do you have? What company is it? I'm looking for somebody who is looking for an alternative to ditch the 9 to 5. Well, what's the product? I'm looking for, have you got the answer here? You keep saying over and over, I'm looking for somebody. So it doesn't matter what I have. You're not it. Hasta la vista, baby. Do you see this? You answer with what you want, which is, I'm looking, don't talk to anybody about what you have or your company or your product or the pay plan until they say, yes, that's me. Who gets this? Right? You get to select. Okay, you see that? SELECT. You are a selector, a chooser. So you don't give, how important is it? Okay. Now let's say, here's another example. If I could only stop being overwhelmed, I'd get things done. So how important is that to you? If this feeling, if I could just stop being so overwhelmed, I'd get things done. Let's say that you offer a daily time management program, right? So the question is not how important is a time management program? That's not anything anybody can relate to, but if I could just stop being overwhelmed and I get more stuff done, that to me is like a 10 or a 3, or it doesn't matter because I'm totally efficient. Are you with me? Tell me you get this. Say, I got it. Let me see that you got it. Say, I got it. I got it. I got it. Okay. Then guess what? So they're thinking about this. You have to come up with how important is this thing. And that is what you're offering, whether you want to offer the business or whether you want to. See, notice it doesn't say how important is making a whole lot of money. No, that's a sucker pitch. Yeah, that's what you get when you listen to the wrong people. You talk like a normal person. How important it is having something of your own in case you ever want to ditch the job. It doesn't matter what they say. You're not going to talk about the business unless they give you a number. Remember, on a scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10? Remember that? Okay, so here's the third part. So we go, bingo. If a person said 10 to anything, we only talk to the 10s. Now, some of you are going to go, well, we could probably persuade an 8 or a 7. You could. But what we've learned, and you probably will do that because we can't control you. You're going to do what you're going to do. Do what you feel like doing, right? Depending on your experience. So we know that. Don't worry. But what you'll find is that the people that are 8s and 9s, And sometimes people just say one, I haven't the slightest interest. Say, okay, great. Thanks very much. Great to chat. I'll catch you later. Do you see that? You say no first and you go on to the next one, and you haven't presented a thing. You don't get blocked. You don't get hated on. Nobody feels like you're some kind of horrible, annoying person because you haven't made any promises. Notice nobody talked about the company or the product. Nothing. They don't even know what you market. When Vic and I started doing this in 2012 or 13, and we won the first place in the recruiting contest company-wide, where we did this, nobody knew what we marketed until they said they were a 10. And then we said, okay, you want a demo? Yeah, I want a demo. And then we get a demo and get it to me or Vic, and she just roll in, boom, 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 boom. So for every company we've ever done, that's what we do. Very different. Because we're advisors. We're not interested in dragging people across the finish line. Been there, done that. Ever got it? All right. So nothing about that. And then here, that's what we did. We just talked to the 10. That is really how we ended up doing this. So what we do is, what you want to think about to make this work is you need to know what is it that you do for people. So like say here, we said, how important is your weight and how important is your weight energy to you? You know, if I were marketing a product that, say it was a healing product or an energy giving product or a pain relief product, let's say it's a pain relief type product. And of course you don't want to use those words, but I might say, how important is it to you to stop taking so many pills or stop taking pills for, whatever, say for headaches, or stop taking pills for, how important is it to you to find an alternative to the usual pills and drugs for your aches and pains? Is that, you tell me, yes, you got this. Hello, got it? How important is it to you to have an alternative, right, to the regular off-the-shelf Tylenol type stuff or, medication type stuff for your aches and pains? How important is that on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, let me ask people here. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is, oh, I don't really care, and 10 is, oh my God, it's off the charts. How many of you, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you rather be getting rid of aches and pains without putting anything, say, into your body, like pills and shakes and injections? Or is it okay? Are you okay the way you are? On a scale of 1 to 10, who would be a 10 there? Some of you could be a 1. You're not going to hurt my feelings. We're talking about values. Do you see this? Right. If you want a 10, you should talk to Vic. In fact, Leslie did. Indeed, Wesley did. Right. We're 10. See, so that's an example. And so there's no pushing. It's just you need to figure out what you do for people so that you can say it with words that a 12 or 13-year-old can understand. Because I'll ask people, so what do you do for people? They'll say nutrition. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you do for people? If you're sitting with your date, say you're going to have dinner with the parents of whoever you're trying to date, whether it's a girl or a boy, doesn't make any difference. Just pretend. And the parent of the person that you're trying to woo says, so what do you do for a living? What are you going to say? Nutrition? What does that mean? Right? Health. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. Now, I help people lose weight who are 300 pounds overweight or more. And we learn to teach them how to do that, without having to restrict their diet, without having to eat rabbit food, and without having to do anything they can't stand. We actually have little energy thingies that we attach to them, and their desire for all these horrible things just disappears. They don't even know that they had it anymore. That's what I do. What do you do? That's how you do that. Are you with me? It has to do with how you make the other people better who want to be better the way that you've got it. That's really what you're doing. And it's like, Musk, what do you do? Well, I'm trying to get to Mars. Why? Well, in case the Earth blows itself up. I want to make electric cars desirable. Why? Because they're ugly now. And if people have ugly, slow, fat, yucky electric cars, nobody will buy them. And that means they're going to stay on gas, which means that we're going to have the carbon footprints and blah, 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 blah. So you're always positioning what you're doing. Like here, what are we doing? Helping you learn how to position what you have so the right people come flowing to you. And you never hear no from the wrong people again. That is what we're doing. And we have automated systems to show you how to do that so that if you really believe, how many people here on this, let's do a scale of 1 to 10, feel like you are 100% sure that you really can help people with what you have? Who's the 10 here versus a 1? And you don't have to be a 10 for me. It's for you. You're the one who's going to put out the effort. Who thinks that they really, really can, yes, help people? On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a 10 are you? I can't see.
Probably a dozen at least.
Okay, good. Well, this is what I wanted to show you. I'll give you the PDF when we hang up. I do have the PDF, of course, and that has all of this together. It's like 2 or 3 pages so that you can use it. Has this been useful for you? Let me see what you have to say. What is you think you're going to be able to do this? How useful is this to you? Yes or no? Just say Y or N. Hey, Mimi, good. I'm glad you got on here. You were able to get on here. That's really good. All right, let me show you something. If you want to change the way you are doing the business, how many people want to use something like this and could use something like this tomorrow, tonight, when you're doing your DM messaging? What do you think? How many people think you can use this right now? Somebody said, what do you do with the 10s? Right? That's the next part. There's a set of questions that you ask the 10s before you do the enrollment. And a lot of that is automated. And that's, of course, what we're all about, teaching you how to do that. And no, it's not like a ClickFunnels system, although we love Russell Brunson. It's a completely separate weighted questions function. And it acts like a funnel in the way that any funnel works, which is a lot goes in at the top and only a little goes out at the bottom. And any funnel, whether it's ClickFunnels or whether it's Jordo's thing, or what, I forget what his company has another funnel type program. It's all a series of questions designed. Are you up for this? Remember to get a feeler out. Are you up for this? Nah, they go up. Yeah, I kind of am. I'm into baseball. Okay, great. So what part of the country do you live in? Which stadiums do you want to go to? Which teams do you want? Are you minor league or major league? And pretty soon you find people who are big boosters for the local boys ball club. You see what I mean? So it's all reaching out. Hey, who's feeler first, right? Put the feeler out, get a reading, all the way down to the one who says, this is just what I want. That's what we all go through as we buy anything, right? That's kind of the deal. So how many of you know that this is different than what you were taught by your upline and by the company? How many people know it's different? Let me see. All right. How many people are going to dare to do this without even telling their upline that they're doing this before they make an approach to a person? How many of you dare? Who dares? Say, I dare. Good. That's what you want to do. Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't ask permission. Do it. And when it starts working, because remember, like acting, do you think that Tom Cruise's first time that he acted 10, 15, 20 years ago, that he read his lines as well as he does now? How many people think that he started out reading his lines just as well as he does now, 20 years later? How many people think that? Do you think he got better the more he practiced? Right? You have to become a practitioner. Actors practice. Violinists practice. Good people practice. Doctors practice. Lawyers practice. And the more you practice, the better you get. But if you don't want to practice because you can't stand getting rejected and being banged on, you are never going to get any better than you are right now. Am I right? But now you can be a practitioner because you have some questions to ask. Am I right? We got this? All right, good. All right, so I wanted to, Vicki likes this so much, and I'm going to show you the doomed fly story, because you need to know that you can stay the way you are, or you can change how you approach people if you think you really have something going on. And there's a wonderful story about the doomed fly. Of course, the book is somewhere in one of these boxes, probably with somebody's underwear. But I can tell you, you know how there's a fly on the windshield, right? And sometimes they're on the inside and they're trying to get out. And there's a wonderful little book called U Squared. And he says he's sitting there, he's at a cabin in a redwood area, and in front of him, he's looking at the window, and this fly is on the outside of the window, and he's writing his little, little book or whatever he's doing. And the fly is buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. The desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away, right in front of him where his window was, right? And he said, my cabin door was open. The cabin door was open, right? That's what he said. And the fly kept buzzing. And he said, there's no way in the world that this fly is going to make it. Have you all seen a fly like that? That's sitting there in the window? In fact, if some of you live in places where you have 2 or 3 flies, and eventually what happens? Don't they fall to the bottom of the windowsill? And they're dead? And the door was right there. And sometimes that's what we are doing as people. With the life and death struggle, we keep talking to people the wrong way. We keep approaching people the wrong way. We keep thinking that everybody wants this. They don't. They may want it, let's grant that, but not the way we have it. They want to lose weight, but not with fasting. They want to lose weight, but not with the juice fast. They want to lose weight, but not with exercise. They want to lose weight, but not with pills. They want to lose weight, but not with meditation. You see that? And then some people aren't ready right now at all. So that's what you need to learn. And so trying harder is probably not the best fix if you're doing the wrong thing, because you'll end up like the doomed fly. How many people feel like they're a doomed fly and they're about ready to drop dead here in the business? How many people feel like that? Say me. I just want to give up. Anybody else?
Several.
It's like, right? So, all right. So I can tell you, we if you would like an opportunity to work with us and see how that might be, we can tell you here in the next 4 or 5 minutes what we do and what the transformational process is that we help somebody through. And then for those of you that are waiting for this, you can connect with Vic. And then the rest of you will know what we do, so you know what an option is for you to learn how to become that person who really can inhabit the character of the person that you need to be, which is an advisor. I mean, how many of you would like to be seen as an advisor instead of a seller? Let me see. Who wants to be seen as an advisor instead of a seller? And not just any old advisor, but a 6-figure advisor, 6 and 7-figure advisors make a lot of money. Okay, so who wants to see how we can do this? We have a 4-step system, and I'll run them through to you in 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can see what there is. So you can see what it would be like for a couple of people who might want to be able to work with us, because we can only take a couple of people a month. Who wants to see? Let me see. You want me to show you?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right, good. So first of all, your first decision has to be up here at the top. You have to decide if you're all in or not. And let me ask people here that feel like if you are a somebody who feels like you are 10, that you and your product and program can help people. Who would go all in if you believed that you could find the people, because you're going to be creative in how you do it? Who would decide to go all in on you? It doesn't matter. You don't have to do our program. You can do anybody's that has achieved what you want and is still doing it. Let me see who says me that yes, you would decide to actually, because see, if you think, oh, I can do this part-time, everybody says that you can make a part-time income. It's very rare. Sometimes you get your mom or 3 people in and you make $100 a month. I'm talking to people here who want to make a minimum of $5,000 per month, minimum. And somebody who would really prefer to make $20,000, $25,000, $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 a month with a business where you have a whole hundreds of distributors and customers in your program that you can help in your special way, with the weight, with the energy, whatever it is. What do we have here, Vic? What do we have? Some people who can actually trust that you would go all in, because you have to make that decision. It's like you're going to become an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah.
How many people who decide I'm going to become an Olympic swimmer are going to say, well, crap, do I have to get in the pool? Oh, damn, do I have to practice today? And just think about this, Kath. When you say, I'm all in. Okay, I'm going to become an Olympic advisor, a six-figure advisor. Do you think you might have to change what you do every day? Tell me yes or no. All of you that said yes. Would you have to change what you do? Hey, Leslie, how are you, babe? Would you have to change what you do every day, yes or no, to become that person? Or do you think you could decide now and then tomorrow you wake up and spend 2 hours on Facebook and 3 hours on Netflix and for the rest watching the Ukrainian news, right? So be conscious of this. Decide. Then, secondly, who is it that you're going to serve? Every business, Range Rover, who do they serve? People who want higher end cars. They are an option for people who want higher end cars for whatever reason, prestige, whatever. Okay. Who does Ford serve? People who want a regular car that will work fine because they're not using their car as a status symbol or whatever. They also make a lot of money. Okay. So you decide who it is that you serve with what you've got. And you can't just say weight loss because everybody does weight loss and everybody's overweight. So what kind of weight loss? Weight loss for people who know that they don't really want to quit eating stuff they like, but they are willing to have like times of day that they eat and not other times if they could just keep eating what they're eating, called digestive resting. And if you are on a path like that, this is the thing for you. Works extremely well, by the way, versus pills versus all these other things you can do. Okay. So who do you serve? We help you create an attractor formula that attracts those people. If you're up for this, watch this. If you can't stand this, watch that. Right? Because so it's if you want this, but you don't want to do that. You want to lose weight, but you don't want to eat rabbit food. You want to lose weight, but you don't want to go to the gym, right? Watch this. That's called getting attention. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does that matter to you? See how this works? And you go through the process. That's what we're going to show people how to do. So you create the formula first, and we will help you with that. Then we have a sowing machine, SOW, for the podcast people, where we're going to seed the earth, just like Jesus did in the Bible. Remember the sower and the seed? If you have good seed, which is you and your product and your program, we're going to find soil to put it. But even God and Jesus, when he told that story, what did he say? Some of the seed landed on rocky soil, so it couldn't take root. Was that the seed's fault? No. Was that the sower's fault? No. What was the purpose of the example? No matter how good you and your stuff is, you're going to get places where it isn't going to take hold, right? Rocky soil cannot grow. Then he said, and sometimes you're going to have seed, and who's going to get it? Who knows the story? Who's going to get the seed sometimes? Who's going to be first? Maybe who gets the seed sometimes? Who knows this part of the Bible story? Who's going to get it? The birds are going to get it. The crappy birds. What is that? The neighbor, the brother-in-law. Oh my God, you know, one of those things. Oh no. Whoop, gone. That's why he put that example in there. Right? And then some of them are going to start. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And then little thorns coming. And what's that? Some other brother-in-law 3 weeks later. Are you still peddling that stuff? Oh no. And there they are. Why is that story there? To let you know this is how it's going to be. If God had that problem in Jesus, don't you think that since we're made in that image, presumably, we're likely to have that problem. So accept it. This is why we do this automation. You are not there to get the no. You know how in the what's that movie with the Karate Kid? When the young kid says to the older Mr. Miyazaki, is that what it was?
Miyake?
He says, well, what's that, Vic?
I think it's Miyake, right?
Miyake. He says, well, what do I do if they're so much bigger than me? What do I do if they hit me? What was his answer? Who knows the answer? Okay, who knows the answer? What did he tell him? There's one answer. What if they're bigger and they hit me? That's like you getting a big no in the face. What did he say? Does anybody know? Come on, we got any fans? Really? You guys don't know? You want to hear what he said? Who wants to hear? See,
Oh yeah, come on.
you want to hear?
Yes.
Everybody said, no, be there.
Yep.
No, be there. No, be there. Where do you think that comes from? Don't be there when the crap hits the fan. So that's why we have systems and questions and filtering. The only people we ever talk to are the 10s. And that's our way of no being there when they come and take a hit on you, which is going to be the no's, the rejection, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we do that. Next, virtual magnet. These are automated, again, questionnaire type things with videos and images, depending on what you want to make. You can make a PDF, you can do an audio, you can make a video. And these, we call them virtual magnets, because once somebody says, yeah, and the seed starts to grow and they say, yeah, I want to know about this, we get this. And these are basically self-selection checklists. And we have people who help you make PDFs from those and make audios from those, make videos, whatever. You make one and just keep using it. Of course, you'll update it. It's like a car. Every year it gets updated. The iPhone, every year they come out with a new phone. So don't think that one thing is going to last forever, like your new shirt. You have to get a new one. But you can get one and use it for a few hundred people so that you get your 20, 30, 40 customers and signups here in your next couple of months instead of the next 10 years, if ever, right? So it's a self-selection checklist that we give out to people. So it's not you. Then what happens is from this list, people have a link that says, okay, this sounds like you. Yeah, it sounds like me. Okay, great. So answer a few questions. And they will answer those questions. This is our filtering system that we have, what we call a readiness ritual. It's basically, there are several funnels in funnels that we're qualifying people and letting them pre-select themselves all the way home. That's what we do. We don't want to sell or push or convince or do any of that. Who's got time for that? So we give them the stuff and they say, yes, yes. Yeah, I want that. Yes, I want that. Yes, and sometimes they say no. If we put 10 people into one of our filters, 3 may come out and 2 sign up. And you talk to 3 people, all of whom have an interest in what you have, and 2 of them buy, and the other one you stay friends with. Would you like that? Yes or no? Does that sound like something you want to do? So what happens is they book themselves on a calendar, your calendar, like a Calendly, one of the little softwares. Many of them are free, but otherwise they're like $9 or $10 a month. They book and you get an email that says, bing, 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 you got an appointment. Lulu wants to talk to you about the business. And she passed the test, she qualified everything. So it's at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And you go, oh my God. Right, Vic? When you started getting those calls, was that like a surprise? And those bookings?
It was, I felt like it came out of the clouds. Somewhere came out of the sky. And there it was. Oh my God, Kim, I got 3 today. And they're nice people. Nobody puked on me. Nobody whined. Nobody sounded like they were dead. They all have energy. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a totally different thing that we do now. It can be done for any type of thing. You know, people, whether you sell $100 a month network marketing program, whether you sell something for $1,000, $1,500, whether you sell something for 10,000, 25,000, 100,000, it works for all of them. Because no matter what you market, it's the question of who is your audience for it, you see? So some of you go, well, who would pay 25 grand for coaching? But countless people. You just don't happen to know about it because you don't travel in those circles. You haven't had that experience. But people pay $100,000. They pay. Tony Robbins has I think it's his platinum thing that he has. I believe it's either $95,000 or $105,000. Some of you know about that. And people pay it. Why? They want the best coaching because they want to level up and be in the next version, that character. They want to be their 2.0, not their 1.0. And so they hang out with people that are thinking ahead of them, that are thinking better, that react better. When somebody says no, they don't go into a funk for 3 weeks. They didn't even hear it. They say, oh my gosh, I guess we didn't filter right, right? Because you're just looking for yours. Jesus only had 12. You don't need that many, you know. And he had a frontline pukey too. So what happens is you get the calendar, then you have a diagnostic conversation. You know, what's the issue? How long have you had it? And what's going on with this? What have you tried before? And when you're done with it, which we will give you when we're done with this, what happens is that 7 out of 10 people, 8 out of 10 people sign up with you. That's what we have. Those are our numbers. And that's why I'm telling you that's how this works. And then what happens is you start to have a new problem. You got a team. You have to manage the team now. Suddenly it's, oh my goodness, I have a team. You know, friends are asking me for money now because I'm actually making some money now, right? And so these are issues and things that you have that will happen when you decide, I want to go all in because I know I can help people. And if I can find a way to find the right ones and have them come to me, even if I do it all manually, like the questions I gave you, and on a scale of 1 to 10, start there. And that's what I want to do, then it might be something that you want to consider having us help you do that with us. You know? So the next step, if you are interested in getting some help from us and seeing if we can help you, because we can only help a few people. Number one, it's a pricey program, and two, it takes work on our part to do it. And we only want to work with somebody that is really committed to becoming like a Tom Cruise in your industry. He didn't start as a great actor. Every actor has to learn how to inhabit a character. And in our case, that character is our better, higher self. And we decide what that's going to be. Like you might decide, well, my great self is never reacts to no's at all. We don't even hear them. That's the version of me I want. Instead of when my mother-in-law says, no, I'm crying for 3 days. That's the old me. That's the wiener me. But the the hoo-ha me didn't even hear no, because we know she's the wrong one. And when you inhabit that version of yourself and make decisions from that person that you get the character to classify, to state who that is. Like, what are the traits? I get up at 5 a.m. might be, or, I never cry when I hear no because I don't hear it anymore. There's somebody who was talking to me, must not have been me. And that's the person you operate from. That's when you inhabit that person, everything changes. You have to practice doing that. And then you become a new person. It's called like being reborn, just like same thing, because it's a whole new set of attitudes that you have. That's what it means to be reborn. You get the better version of you. And I'm looking to do that with my own life every single day. Okay. So if you want to see if we can help you, go right here, put that maybe in the chat, Vic. The six-figure advisor.me, 6 figures is between 100,000 a year and 999,000 a year. Is that a kind of an income that you guys would like to be able to earn and go all in on doing, say, in the next year or two? Let me see who's up for becoming the person you need to be to do that. Right? Yeah. Well, the thing is, saying it's one thing. Everybody says, oh, I want 100 grand. And the next day they're watching videos again on Netflix and doing Facebook. How much time do you really think that Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, when he was here, that they hang out on Facebook looking to see what people are saying about them? Who has time? Who cares? Right? That's a very big difference in doing that. So go here for that. You get a little form like this, you see? And it says, do you want to work with our team? Put in your contact information, say why you're interested in working with us. Okay, that's what the form is going to look like. With some of you, like Kathy P, and let's see, Masood and Stefano, would you click on that link and see if it, just tell me that it works. And Leslie, maybe you could see if it works. Minnie, can you guys click on that link and just see if it works? And Kathy, Kathy Fishnick. Have you talked to Vicki already, Kathy?
Oh yeah, she wants in. She wants to be one of us here.
Oh, good. Well, why don't you hustle up and get yourself in here tonight? We might have something special for you that we can do. What do you market? Okay, let me see who else we got here. It works? Okay, well, fill it in if you haven't filled it in before, okay? So that's really what this is. If you want, I have a dice story. How many of you like dice and like gambling and kind of guessing what are the chances that you might succeed versus chances that it's going to be a complete bust? Who wants to see? You like dice? The link doesn't work for me, Stephen Williams. Okay, let's put it in there again. Are you on a phone? What kind of a contraption are you on? What's your gadget? Are you on a phone, an iPad, or what? Senor Williams. Chris Henschmidt, how are you doing, buddy? Long time no see. I bet it should work. Yeah, I see you. Okay, try it again, Steve. I don't know if you go by Steven or.
It's working for the others. So maybe another browser or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah, get Chrome or, does anybody use anything else anymore today? Try and make that work. Okay. All right, you want to hear a dice story and see how you could use dice? Good, Kathy, to make your business work better. Tell me yes. You want dice? You want to see the dice story? Yes or no? Otherwise, we can call it a night. We're good. We're good to go.
Yes. Lots of
yes. Okay. So let's say we're going to play a game, and this is going to be a money game. And can be money, because of course money is the whole idea of having a career that's not your job or whatever, is to build a business with many paying customers that give you what we call cash flow. If you don't have more than 3 customers, you have a business, but it's like $100 a month or $50 a month. We're talking about multiplying your money and your investment in what you do, because obviously you go to school, you go to Harvard, you pay $100,000. We're not charging $100,000. And I dare say that we give you better than Harvard. As a graduate of that school, I can tell you that. Why? Because they will give you a credential like what I have, but that credential doesn't guarantee jack. If I don't know how to get results, if I don't know how to generate business and make money generating business from the service that I know how to give people, you are going to be having a job. You've got to be able to generate revenue, money. And how do you get that? You offer something really good that you can stand behind with you, not just your pills, but maybe your lifestyle. Like if I were marketing sleeping stuff, it would be, guess what? There are 15 ways that you can sleep better at night. Besides these products, let's say I had a sleeping product. What are they? Well, black drapes, sound stuff, sleeping plans. I have all that stuff. So if you show that you're truly an advisor and you know that stuff, people will come flocking to you and you will be the number one hoo-ha. I talked to a guy today. I need to get a whole house water unit. And he came over to show. Yesterday, I had a guy come and he said, well, it's, I don't know what it was, like $5,000 or $6,000 for the big whole house thing. So we can put it right here on the front of the house. And I said, well, I don't want it at the front of the house because I'm going to look at it. And the first thing you come in, I don't want to see this big blue ugly thing. He said, yeah, well, we could, maybe move it down a little bit and, blah, blah. So I thought, okay, great. Then the next guy comes this afternoon and he says, okay, well, we have this system, and he described what it took out, and I'm very keen on that. And he said, now I can see you have a nice little place here. He said, so we wouldn't want to put it in the front of the house. He said, in fact, what we could do is run the lines underneath, if you have a crawl space, and hide them in the back. Now, who do you think I am more inclined to buy from? Who? The guy who says, can we hide the whole thing in the back? Or the one who says, well, who didn't even notice that I might not like this big honking blue thing in front of a house that's white? Hello, who shows that they care more? That do you see? Yeah. Why? Well, I can see it's a nice house. Why would you want this ugly thing? He's talking about his thing. Why would you want this big ugly thing in the front? I said, we wouldn't. And that's probably why I would buy from you. And he said, you live here in the neighborhood with Julia Roberts and with Steven Spielberg. He lives on the other side of the highway, and they all have these systems too. But that didn't sell me. I don't give a, that he said this, we could make it look really nice, and it costs a little bit more, but I would think that's what you would want. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're like me. You want to keep things beautiful, but we want to have the best water filtration in the world. And that's very specific. So this is how I asked him, how long have you been doing this? He said 8 years. And I said, why do you do this? And he said, because it gives me something to do that makes money, but most of all, I'm doing good in the world. Guess who I'm going to buy from, even though it's 2 times more than the first guy? Who? The second guy? The first guy or the second guy? Do you see why? This is what you want to do. Be the best at what you do and demonstrate by the things that are not your product that you are the one that they want to work with. You don't need, I mean, if you had like 1,000 customers, oh my God, you guys would be making 5, 10 grand a month, because some of those would be reps. But you have to go all in. If you think you got to do it watching, Netflix most of the time, it's not going to happen. Okay. So here's a random dice, a regular dice. Okay. And now we have loaded dice. Now these dice, every time you use them, instead of being just random, 70% chance of winning, 70% chance of winning. Okay. These are loaded dice. So which one would you want? You want to have the random, I know it sounds retarded, but there's a point to it. You want the random dice or the 70% dice? Put it in the chat. What do you want? Random or 70%? Yeah, and the second guy, Kathy, also shared my values. He volunteered. We would want to put this in the back of the house so nobody could see it. I didn't even think, I would have, of course, had they come with all this crap, I would have told them, there's no way you're putting this in the front so we see it. Are you nuts? Put it in another place. But when the first guy came, who was the local big plumbing person, he said, well, we could, put it right here. And I said, no, why would you put it there? I mean, it would look terrible. Oh, well, we could move it down a little ways and maybe put a little brush in front of it. So for somebody, if it weren't me, somebody else might not care about that. But I did. I want stuff to look good. I don't want to have, I don't have laundry hanging out on the front of the house. You do that in Puerto Rico because that's what everybody does. It's fun. But if I'm not that person, so he shared values that I have, like be discreet, right? And also have the finest and have the right reasons for doing the business. So it makes a big difference. So just so you know, it wasn't just the options, it's the values. And you will have people, Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice. Only his sheep. You will have sheep of your own. They won't hear my voice. They won't hear Vicky's voice. They'll only hear your voice because they're your sheep with your values. Do you see that? How many people say, yes, my sheep will hear me? They'll hear you too, believe me. Okay, dice. So you want the why? Why do you want them? So why did you want the 70% dice? What'd you say? Because now comes the big trick question. Who wants that? Who said? Why do you want the loaded dice? What do they say, Vic?
Just they're saying the loaded, but they haven't said why.
Okay, why do you want the loaded dice? Why would you want them? Why? Why?
Tell. Offer better chances of success,
Yeah, you got it. Yep. Better chance. Okay. So now how about this? Now here's the trick. They're going to sell these 70% dice for $1,000. Now, the random dice are free. Remember, now you're playing, you can play for $300, $500, $10,000. You can put your house on the line. You can use the dice for any kind of trading that you want, as often as you want. But the 70% dice are $1,000. Now, which dice would you want to play with now? Would you pay the 1,000? Yes or no? You can use them as long as you want, as often as you want, for any amount that you want. Would you do it? Yes or no?
Loaded dice, Chip says, I'll get my money back as a return investment.
Okay, so loaded dice, you still do the loaded dice?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody would do it. Okay, remember, you can use them as often as you want. So you have the 70% dice for $1,000 or the regular random dice that are free.
Loaded.
A lot of people, they think, oh, I can do this. I can do this and it's free. I don't have to pay for anybody anything. And that's totally true. You can. You can go random, right? For sure. But why do people pick loaded dice? Why do people do that? As far as I can tell, the certainty. There's certainty that you're going to win more than you're going to lose. That's why people pay for coaches, consulting, programs, and whatnot, because that's what it gives you. And that's what we like to think we are for you. We will be your 70% dice in this game of marketing. Because the whole game of marketing is you have to find your sheep, you have to learn how to call them. And you don't need many of them either. Most of the top players in the industries no matter what the companies are, the people making $1 million a year, they have between 2 and 5 people in their organizations, many of them not ever even front line, that makes them 85 to 90% of their money. We had one guy in New Skin, his son is still in the business, and he was one of the top blue diamonds in there. I forget how many blue diamonds he had, making $2 million a year. One person that he had personally sponsored made 85% of that money for him. One person, right? So usually it's never more than 2 to 5. Out of hundreds of thousands of reps, there are 2 to 5 what we call drivers. And you don't always have to have been that one. Sometimes they sponsor somebody who is that one. And we want to help you become successful. If you think you love what you have and you know you can help people, this is what you want to do. Okay. And some of you are thinking, well, that's, what should I borrow money? Because you've heard from Dave Ramsey, you shouldn't borrow money. And Dave Ramsey and Suze Orman, they help people who have jobs. And there's nothing wrong with having a job. A lot of people love their work and it's certain income. You go to work a certain time, you end up a certain time, and companies don't go bust that much. I mean, people are having layoffs and all that, but there's a reason 95% of the world has jobs. They prefer the security and they don't mind having lower income because they prefer the security. That's the trade. When you go into a business, you don't know how much you're going to make or if you're going to make anything, because you have to do the right thing and do it the right way. You have to come from that right character in your mind. Remember, that's kind of how that is. So business is uncertain. That's why most of you hang on to jobs. That's why everybody does that. It's not a big thing. But the chances of making a whole lot are very small in a job because you know what it is. So you know how much you make. So Ramsey says, don't go and spend 10 grand on crypto or on video games when you're making 50 grand a year or 60 or 100. Don't spend out of that range too much because you have no way to repay it, because your job is a fixed income, whether it's 10 grand a month, 3 grand a month, or 30 grand a month if you have a job like that. You see what I mean? So it's somebody, but for a business, John Rockefeller borrowed money. Every church that's built is built on borrowed money. You have somebody like Elon fooling around with Twitter. He's supposed to be the richest guy in the world in terms of stock value. He had to get a loan to buy Twitter. He put in just a little bit, 3 of his billion of his own. He doesn't even have money. All his money's in stock. So he went to the bank and borrowed it from Goldman Sachs and a bunch of other people that want to invest with him. They call it raising capital. They borrow to build their business. John Rockefeller did it. This is how all businesses are based on somebody borrows money. Why? Because they think they can multiply it. So when you think about, oh, should I hire a coach? Should I hire somebody to help me through this process? Don't do it unless you're going to commit yourself to becoming the person you need to be to make the money that you want to make. Because if you don't do anything, no matter how much you pay Harvard or us or anyone, if you don't do anything, nothing is going to change. The practitioner gets good by practicing. They box together, they play tennis together. And if you never practice, how good are you going to get? Our practice is communication. We teach communication skills from imagining that you can be the number one person in your area. Many of you could become bigger than your company. Why? Because you can offer more than your company. The company can only offer the products that they have. You can offer additional life habits, additional life teachings for which people would pay you thousands of dollars if they knew they could find you. Really. That's how this works. Okay, so I just want you to let me give you my last quote of the day. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. Because some of you are thinking about staying where you are. You could stay where you are. If it's okay with you, it surely is okay with me and Vic. But if you don't want to stay where you are, then you have to ask for more. And then you have to be ready to do what it takes to take that by the hand and become the person you need to be so you can help the people you want, make the impact you want, and make enormous amounts of money. All right, that's really what it is. Bargain with life for a penny, life would pay no more. However, I begged that evening when I counted my scanty store. Life is just an employer. He gives you what you ask. Remember, this is like 1910, so everything is he, but it could be also she, of course. Life is just an employer. He gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, once you've decided what you're going to settle for, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. And so we're here to help you if you do not want to settle for a menial's hire. But you have to dare. You have to dare to be different. You have to dare to say, I'm committing, and you throw your lot in, and we've thrown in, and we'll help you with it. We'll be there for it. Okay, so that's really what we have for you. Is that helpful? Okay, we have some questions here, comments or what we got. Okay, you have the link so you can connect with Vic.
And I'm going to put my cell phone in there in case some of you, while you're filling it out, want to be at the top of the possibility of interviewing with me or talking to me. There's my phone right there.
Yes, right. If you want to get to the head of the line, I think we have room for 2 people, and that we can help here with the big thing. And Vicki has a couple of options for people. We are doing a 4-hour virtual immersion, and it's for people who want to become elite advisors by helping to awaken their talent to practice. We have found that people in network marketers would not say that they're practitioners because they don't practice. How many people here want to become a practitioner? That means that you're somebody who practices your craft all the time because you love it, because people respond to you, and because people pay you. Who would like to be a practitioner? Say me. I want to be a practitioner. I am a practitioner. A practitioner. Yeah. You want to be a practitioner. And that's what you want to do. That's what we have it's a session that we're going to do in 4 hours, June 21. And we have a certain number of spots. There are 15 spots for what we call the VIP. This is very low cost, but compared to this one. And then we have 35 spaces for the general. And we've let a couple of people know about it. And the first 2 people who knew about it already bought up a couple of spots. So ask Vicki about that, and maybe we can. Yeah, you're a practitioner. Absolutely. Yeah, the thing is, you can do a lot of situations. See, your situation is how you perceive it. So unless you're dead in the body, which you're not, I'm just saying, all these ideas that, oh, I'm stuck, I can't do anything, are ideas that are in your mind, and they seem completely right. And they probably are, but there's a way to look at it yourself, no matter what your situation is. Like I said, unless you're like physically terminally ill or something, I don't know that. There's a way always to turn it around, always. It's just you have to look at it a different way, And so sometimes, how many people here have had situations where you thought for sure, oh, it's never going to work, and then somehow it did. You know how that is when you think, oh, it's absolutely, totally, it's not going to happen. And then it did. Has anybody ever had that happen to them?
Me.
There was a big change, and oh my gosh. Right? Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. You think you can't, or that it can't change, and suddenly somebody says, well, what if you looked at it like this? It's like, oh, it's just weird. And perspective is really important. That's why it helps to talk to people who have been in whatever situation you're in, who have gotten out of it. Because if you hang with people who will say, oh yeah, poor you, let's say, then you won't think any differently. And to think different, you have to have access to ideas or thinking, what if it did work? What if we could make this happen? Or what if this, or what if that? Because there's a way out of everything. Tesla was almost bankrupt 2 times. And the worst time for them was just before Christmas in 2004 or 6, I think. And Elon said that they had to make payroll the night before Christmas, December 24. And they didn't have enough money to make the payroll. And they were relatively small, but if you don't have money to make a payroll for a couple $100,000, you don't have money, right? What are you going to do for Christmas, especially? And so what he told his staff to do is he said, okay, guys, it's over. But what we're going to do is I and 10 or 20 of the leaders in there in Tesla, we're going to call the customers who are on the waiting list and tell them, place your order now, because this is the way we're going to save the company. We're out of money. We know we have a good car. We're ready to go. Since you're on the, you're on the waiting list, place your order now so that the money comes to the company and we can stay in business long enough to fulfill the orders. And they got, I think, orders for 200 or 300 cars, and each car was like, I don't know, $80,000. When those numbers came in, one of his investors, who had been kind of sour on him, invested another $1 million into the company to keep them going, to do their payroll 2 days later. So there is, like I said, unless you are dead in the body, there is another way to look around and go, oh, I didn't think of that. Always. So don't get too stuck on yourself being stuck on something. There's always another way. And you have to ask your brain, what's another way? What's another way? No, you can't. What's another way? What's another way? If I could think of it, what would it be? And you force your brain to become the creative unit that we're supposed to be if we're made in the image of God, which is to be creative, to imagine, and then speak a whole new world into existence. That's what we should do. So don't be sitting there moping, because you're not dead. If you're dead, there's nothing to do. Okay? All right.
Well, Kim,
So
that is the best thing you ever taught me when I met you, with my crazy 3-day notice on the door and trying to hide my pride from what was going down, and met you and talk about creative, innovative. I never heard Kim say that can't be done. I've never heard it in 25, 30 years. She doesn't do that. It's, how can we do this? How can we accomplish this? And then all of a sudden your brain opens up and it's like there's some brain in there that you didn't know you had. And, oh, I have an idea. Where'd that idea come from? You bounce it off of another innovative creator. And suddenly it morphs and it shapes and it becomes something. It's freaking just magical. And by the way, when she's talking about Tom Cruise, it reminds me of when I met her and I was a wuss. I was a shy wuss and I was afraid.
You were.
I didn't want to go through the rejection. I couldn't go through those lists. I didn't want to do spammy stuff. I hated manipulations. And I went to this mastermind that Kim was at one time. I want to tell you guys this because it's kind of funny. And she left a shirt behind. It was one of these jean kind of shirts, you know? And I took it home thinking I was going to give it back to her on the next mastermind, but I didn't. Everything I did to hit numbers, I put that shirt on. And I got in some kind of a state doing that. And it worked. I wasn't me. I wasn't wussy. I was confident. And I remember her always saying, stand up straight, put your boobs out, chin up. And I just did these little tiny little things. And every time I did this little thing, I was better. And then I went on to hit these top things and over 10,000 in 4 months. I'd never done that. So I can only tell you, being around a certain personality, for me, that kind of person is important. Somebody that doesn't lie or bullshit you and talks in short snippets so that the average brain can remember what she said. And it works because the person listening can hear you. Instead of all these gobbledygook paragraphs, it's magical. And so, that's how I feel about it. That's why I'm still here. And it takes time to change. It doesn't come overnight, unless Kim sells her shirts to all of us, and we can stand up and kind of implement some funny things. But
you put the character dress on, right?
Or caps or whatever. But you have to get in a state like Tom Cruise. You're talking about Tom Cruise, and he's a certain kind of person then. And it works. It works. It becomes you. It becomes a better you. So
right. Yeah. Minnie, I got your form here.
Yeah,
you want to get with Vic, so that would be really good. I wanted to say something about some people will say, and like some people here, because we're getting some private messages, I've listened to all your stuff. And there's something really interesting about that. If you go to medical school, you will see many videos and demonstrations of procedures, AKA operations that people do. And then when you graduate from medical school and you've seen all this stuff, and of course you do the cadaver stuff, you have to start helping with the procedures, doing the thing, practicing. That's what the first internship year is. And then your residency is 5 more years. Nothing but practicing. And so if you feel like, well, I've listened to all your stuff and nothing's happened, I would say, are you talking to a minimum of 20 people per day? If you're not practicing, and that means you will never get better. You can have memorized all my stuff. I can have memorized the whole Bible. I can have memorized all the body parts. But if I never practice dropping a central line, or if I never practice opening up a heart, or doing this, or doing the eye surgery, I will never be any good. It's like a tennis player who watches all the videos, but they never will get on the court with anybody. You cannot improve your swing if you don't take swings. And you cannot improve your swimming if you don't get in a pool. And I don't mean once a month. No, every day. So like Minnie, we'll give you what to say. If you get in the pool every day, you will absolutely 100% guarantee get better and become really good. But just listening and watching is not it. I'll tell you why. I wish it worked. But if you want to become a super tennis player, if you don't want to play tennis on the court because you might lose, how good are you going to get? Okay, does a tennis player have to get on the court to practice? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat. How about a boxer? Do you have to get? So just ask yourself, say, Stephen, and we have a couple of other people here. How many people did you talk to today about the business with the intent to talk about the business or the product the way we talk about it? You can do it now. Right? How many people here have talked to 10 people today? 10. If you haven't talked to 10 people, you're not in business. You're not. I mean, you can maybe make $5 or $10 or something, but you got to commit to it. And if you don't play tennis because you don't want to lose, you don't want to box because, oh my God, they might hit me. Well, then, that is right. Why do you want to be a boxer if you don't ever want to get in the ring? Well, I like looking good and all that stuff. Oh, okay. Well, you're not going to be much of a boxer. Learning to communicate is something that the industry has really, they tell you, oh, you just talk to people. Right. And say what? How are the husband? How's the hemorrhoid? You're supposed to talk magic words, persuasive words that help people think, that let them see, oh, you help these kind of people. Well, let me see if I know anyone, or, I might be that person. You have to talk in such a way that people know that you have your in business. You help certain people right from the get-go. What do you do? Well, I market this program for people, who have stuff to sell, but they don't know how to sell it. So they feel really bad. They have no money. They have this great thing to sell and they don't know how to sell it. So I help people do that. What do? You know what I get from everybody? Oh, I have stuff to sell. Would you show me how to sell stuff? From everybody. So I practice all the time. I send emails. I do this. I talk to people just to practice. I connect with people 24/7. In fact, 2 or 3 of you that are on the call, we were messaging last night. And I didn't tell you, oh, come to the call. It's like, what do you do? How are you doing with it? What's the obstacle? What's the issue? That's communicating. And so if you're not communicating with people who might be your prospect, you're not doing the business. So you ask yourself, no matter what your situation is, are you talking to 10 people? Where are they? Well, if you want to, go look around your neighborhood and pick the names of the real estate people off the park benches. That's what we used to do. Who are those people? Real estate people. You call them up. Hey, let me tell you, I know about real estate because I was in real estate. And this may not be your thing because if you don't know about real estate, but pick people that you know something about. But in the case of people on benches, say, I know that the business income kind of up and down, because you're in between deals a lot. Is there, if I could show you a way to do something to even out the income, so between deals, you'd have something that you could do with what you're doing right now. Would you want to know what that is? We did that all the time. In fact, with the company, we're doing an experimental team right now. We build a team every 4 or 5 years just to make sure we still do it. what I'm going to do is, now that I've landed in this new town, I'm going to test. I'm going to call a bunch of chiropractors. I want to say, and now, what do you suppose I'm going to say? We have something that helps relieve pain, right? This is, and you don't need to take any pills or injections or anything like that. So what do you think a pitch might be that somebody like me might make to a chiropractor? And I happen to love chiropractors. I like to go to them. How would I sell that to them, you think? What do you think? You guys want to hear what that is? How I would do that? Who wants to hear? Because if nobody does, I'm good. We can go home. I'm done anyway.
Got two.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so one of the things we could do is, I would certainly call that office, call the chiropractor office, and since I'm a fan of chiropractors, I might even go to one actually and get a treatment. But I would tell them, hey, I'm new in town and I'm a big fan of chiropractors. In fact, I might be coming to visit you, but I got a question for you, and I want you to ask the boss, ask the chiropractor. If I give you this question, would you ask him? And then you let me know, and whenever, and I'll call you back sometime if he's on board with the question. And the person's probably going to say, well, what's the question? Because my goal is to get the question to him. I don't need to talk to him. What do I need him for? She probably sleeps with him if it's his wife. So that's totally good. So she might say, yeah, what's the question? And I would say, ask him if he has patients that are feeling the pinch of money, having to come to the chiropractor every week or every 2 weeks. And if he does, if he had a little product to give them to kind of relieve pain in between visits, that those clients, those patients would like that a lot. And maybe see him less often, but he could still give him a product that would relieve pain in between visits. Ask him if he'd like to know what that is. And that's something that he could market from his office. So something to give people that are feeling the pinch of money. They can't come in as much as they used to, but they still have aches and pains. Something he could give them to tide them over between visits that would help relieve the pain without having to come in. And he could make money on it because, of course, he's going to be offering it to them and they would buy it. And I would dare to say, if I called 10 chiropractors, 2 or 3 are going to say, well, what do you have? Because I do have patients that are feeling the pinch and don't want to come as much. And that's what do you have to give them? I said, okay, let me run over because I'm just down the street from you. And I'm sure you could test it and see if you like them. If you like them, great, but you can offer them. And if you don't, then nothing ventured, nothing gained, no big deal. And somebody who if the chiropractor has 30 patients and 3 of them are saying, well, I can't come every month anymore. I can't come every 2 weeks. I'm going to have to make it every 3 months. That's lost income to the chiropractor. And I can help him make money by helping those patients be relieved of the aches and pains, because this particular thing has they get rid of aches and pains almost instantly. It's the craziest thing, without taking pills and stuff. And so if he's on board with that, he can offer that to them. Do you see? So I would get a distributor that would have 10, 15 clients right out of the gate. You see how that works? Tell me yes. See, Minnie, how that works? So I figured I'd just try it and test it. What have I got to lose? The worst is they say no. But my job is to get her to ask him that question. See? And you do that every day. Every day, if you're not calling somebody or thinking, imagining, what could I do to find people who would want what I have? What situation do they have to be in? You're not doing marketing and your situation won't change. You have got to be practicing. And so you pull people out of the woodwork, off the park benches, like that, like I just showed. They have chiropractors on park benches. You can get your local phone book, look at all the chiropractors. I don't know what you market, but whatever it is, the quickest source is your phone book and practitioners who do that, business people that have clients that might, and maybe 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 will say yes. For the water filter business that I did, that I became the super queen in, the first company I ever did, I went to doctors, alternative medical doctors, called them all out of the phone book. To this day, it's been 30 years, 29 years. There are people using that same product in their offices to give to their clients who don't get enough fruits and veggies in their diet to this day. That is what you do. So if you're doing those things, you will change your situation. Right, Vic?
Right. on. Definitely.
Yeah, you can't just do nothing. And you can't say, I don't know anybody. Open the phone book. Start thinking, who do you help?
Yes.
What do you do for those people? Start getting out of your any limited space. And this is for everybody on the call. Because a lot of people, we don't practice. Why? Well, I don't have anybody to talk to. Well, get your phone book out. Who are the medical people? Who do you help?
Yes.
Now, again, if you don't think you can help anybody, of course, these thoughts won't come to your mind. But if you know that what you've got can help people, you're crazy not to, either you don't really believe it or you just don't know how. And I'm telling you, get the phone book.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down with yourself. Who could I help? Well, people who have this ache or that ache or this or that. Who has those people? Who's got people that I can help where we don't conflict with each other? Well, chiropractors don't usually market supplements. Some of them, but they don't market this particular type of techie stuff. It has to do with the energy flows, and I'm very big into that. And people that know about energy, chiropractic alternative, anybody know how this stuff works. But if you don't ever talk to anybody because you say you don't know anybody, well, fine, get to know people. Get to know people. Talk to people. Go shopping. Talk to them in the line. Hey, what do you do? That's what I do. Well, I'm looking for people like this. You know anybody like that? Okay, let me know. I have in my script the Art of Recruiting class. I give you scripts to talk to people in the bank, in the post office, anywhere that I've used and would use and still use to this day. What do you do? I help people with this. No kidding. How do you do that? How do I get it? Today with the water filter guy. Because he needs to lose weight. He's got a big pregnant stomach. It's like, well, might be a way. Right? So not having people to talk to is a story that will keep you broke. There are 7 billion people in this world. You have to start thinking, who do you help? Where are they? And how can I find people who have those people? And just start talking. It's like wanting to be a tennis champion, but you don't want to get on the court. That's just not going to work. You've got to communicate and practice, just like actors. Are we good? All right, I think we're good. We should quit now. IGI. So are you the company that does, maybe I'm trying to think what you do. Is this the one where you send in samples and you get customized stuff back? Is that your deal? What do you help people with? What do you make better? What's the owie that people have that you fix, Mademoiselle? What's the owie? My owie for people that we fix, they can't sell anything. They don't know how to talk to people. And so they're all sad. That's what we do. We fix that right out. Okay. How do you get the PDF? We're going to take everybody that was here and send it to you in the chat, Ellen. I will make sure that it goes out tomorrow to everybody who attended. We have a list of everybody who attended, and we'll send it out. It's a 3-page PDF, and it looks like let's see here. Well, it's a PDF. It has like 3 pages. Yeah, 3 pages. That looks like it's called the Yes Test. So I will send it out to everybody here in the next hour or so, to everybody who attended the call. Does that sound good, Ellen? So you have this. Yep. Okay, cool. Well, I think we're set to go. If you want to connect, if you think we can help you and you'd like some help to get off the dime, let me know and Vicki know, and we'll see if we can help make that happen. But remember, having nobody to talk to is when there are 7 billion people in the world, it means that you're not clear who you help. So be clear, who is it that you help? Because if those people are out there with that problem, you can help them and you'll make whatever, whether it's a binary or whether it's a breakaway plan, it doesn't matter. What we do when we build fast is we will find the people and then at the end of the week, put them in the right places, depending on what the big plan is. That's how we do that. Okay. So you don't put them in right away. All right, you guys, we got to run. Denise, catch you later. Minnie, good to chat. And let's see if we can get a couple of you guys going. Okay, Vic, are we good?
We're good. And you got my text. You got you've got the form, and some of you are filling it out. I know, because I'm getting texts. Mimi, got you. Kathy as well. And communicate. Thanks, Kim.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.